So you're a 153. Holy
Yeah.
shit, Julie, you're down the whole 10 pounds.
Well, I think I gained two, so
It's December 28th, 153, and then July 26th, 142.9. How does it feel to see those numbers change on the scale for yourself?
oh, very, very, very good. Very good. Yeah. And I feel it in on a lot of my clothes, whether it's a bathing suit or sports bras, certain pants. I'm like, holy cow, I can actually be comfortable and not tight. Yeah, they did fit back then, but they were tight and uncomfortable. Now, like the clothes is enjoy some pieces of clothing are enjoyable to wear.
How did how did working with me change your approach to health and fitness? Was it different prior to us working together, or what was it like prior to us starting the program?
Just doing it on your own and trying things was I wasn't successful, and I think you being a guide, and and not only a coach. Like, no, you're doing great. Look, you see this, you see things that I wasn't seeing, and you were pointing me in the right direction.
I think, look, say in terms of like when I have a coach too, and I think that it's really, really, really easy to look at what we're not doing instead of to look at, hey, actually, wait, I am doing all these things, right? And there's always more that we want to do. And this is what, I had mentioned to you in the past of like we're high performing people where it's like, okay, yeah, I did that, but I did that. And I did that because it was easy. I can do all these things. That's no problem. But look at what I'm not doing. But we're not recognizing that what we're not doing is like 10% of the equation, but the other 90% you are doing. And the other 90% is what's going to have the greatest influence on the results you're looking for and just your physique and health and overall wellness, right? So
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
you're not alone in that. I also at times do the same thing. So I think it's important to have someone to just kind of shine light on things and look at the data and not make decisions based on emotion, but more so make decisions based on the reality of the situation too, right? Like we look at your food intake, we look at your alcohol intake, we look at how many workouts you've done, how many kilometers or miles you've cycled. Like you're active, so there's no reason why we would not feel successful in terms of the progress you've made for yourself. And the data shows it too, right? In the photos, but also in like your weight declining as well. So it's good to see. I'm happy for you.
Me too. And I feel I have more control on how many, like I didn't realize on how many calorie intake overboard I was.
Right. So do you feel like that was a huge change for you, or do you feel like,
Yes, no,
do
I
you
feel
feel
it was a huge change, but it was hard. It's hard too because you're like, damn, I just want to drink red wine or whatever all evening, but you're like, shit, I have to like maintain to like one or two. So
did you find that it was challenging though? Because I feel like it was just more of like, hey, Julie, like let's just pull back on one or two of these, and I feel like you implemented it relatively easily. Would you agree?
yeah, there's just some evenings I wish I just like, oh, okay, I just, they put an X on, data logging and just like, go have fun and whatever. And tomorrow's another day and we'll just, start calculating there. So, yeah. And I wanted to do this week, I was like, okay, I got to be like careful on like a whole bunch of stuff. And then, a new employee started, and I realized what she took was just like, a little entree. And I'm like, you know what? If I have to go to the restaurant, just then take a small entree. I haven't really, try to go for a healthy meal, a salad, and then they show up with like this humongous salads. So I'm gonna stick to entrees, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think having that awareness or building the awareness we've built over the last, since December is more. I think that's one of those keystone habits for you where, you'll recognize what you just mentioned, one of your coworkers picking out a smaller entree. And I think you make the connection there. It's just a lot more cerebral in terms of the choices you're
Mm-hmm.
making. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what moves the needle forward for you in terms of just the
Mm-hmm.
progress you're trying to make as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah,
So
some people only eat two meals too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
I mean, the reason why I go to the gym 9 times out of 10 is so I can eat So I don't know, but for other people, it's for other people,
I
it's
would,
different, right? So that's
you know
okay
what?
too.
After cycling, like, 4 hours, I'd be like, okay, I can have that beer. So I know exactly what you're talking about because I'll cycle and they were like, oh, it doesn't matter. We can still have a poutine after or whatever, or the chocolate cake or whatever that it is that you want. Yeah. So you feel balanced in your head and saying, I just burned like 2,000 calories. I can have that.
There's a bit of budget in the account. We can go on here. We'll be all right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think I think what you had just mentioned prior to this about like putting an X on this day and just picking back up tomorrow. I think that's most important because I feel like if we could put an X on a day, then we put it behind us for the following day and we're like, okay, let's just look forward from here. Versus, oh, yesterday I had you know cake after cycling or poutine after cycling, and then now I got to eat like a bird today because I want to balance it out. It's like, no, no, no. Let's just get back to the program and get back to things the way we have them set up. And I think that's most important because I think we can really beat ourselves up about this stuff. And when we're self-critical in that way, it doesn't do us any benefit. But what we can do is pick up right where we left off and just keep moving forward with things. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing a great job with that. Yeah, in terms of the success you've had with the program, tell me about what those points are for you. Like highlight them for me.
I actually don't mind either, checking out what I've eaten. So it gives me a better perspective of what I've eaten and how much, it's calculated. Oh, I calculate my calories. I'm fine with it. And it seemed like it was a little bit of a headache at first. And it's okay. You can enter it, the next day, whatever. But ideally is to do it the day of because then you're going to forget what you've eaten the day past.
Just because you're on this point, and I want anybody who's watching this to know, tell them about how accurate and how specific you are with your calories. You spoke to me about this in particular. Like you're not super granular, right?
No, no, no. Like, if you ate something and I try to look at the ingredients, whatever the calorie is. If I can't find it, well, too bad. And if I'm off, 50 or 50 calories or 100 calories, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's an average. You know that you've eaten whatever 1,500 calories that day. You can ballpark it too, so it's just to give you an idea and a guide. You don't have to be anal about it, like, oh, so and the app can be confusing because it gives you, like, let's say a peach, it'll give you like three different choices and you're like, oh, come on, like, really, there's three different choices, just pick one. It's just
I love this response. I think this is great because I feel like, we do these things to help simplify our life. Okay, I know how many calories I'm having, so I know I'm on the right track. I know how much activity I'm doing, so I know that my workouts are set up and scheduled for me. But then we find things to stress about within those things where it's like, okay, but now we've just shifted that stress and that headspace from, not having any progress towards my goals to now I've not made my goals perfect. And I think, or my approach perfect. And I think, you really aiming for the progress over perfection approach is really what's gotten you to this place as well, because it's like, okay, I can't get it exact. We know that calories that are on labels are have an average of like 20% standard error. So it could be 120 for every 100 calories, or it can be 80s and in that range. So I think you really taking that approach and just recognizing that, okay, I'm in a ballpark here. This is the point, just to start tracking and get within a range. And then from there, you can dial in further or just be happy with being on the range too. And that's it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I know. I'm
yeah,
happy with being on a range. Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Well, you questioned me. There's one time you look like you didn't eat much that day. Well, I ate enough, and
That's
it
so
was
funny.
like not even 1,003 calories or something like that. I don't know. Are you sure you ate enough yesterday?
In terms of if there was two things that you'd have to tell someone who wants to find a coach or is kind of on the fence with working with someone like myself, what would you say to them in terms of wanting them to join the program?
And you always said don't don't be shy to reach out on anything. So I guess if I had a bad day and then I wanted to talk about, issues of whatever food or exercises, you were there. So, and your support was very, very good. I think there was I know there was two times we had an emotional call. So
This happens, and at the end of the day, like we're provoking change. I'm trying to encourage you to change the person you are to a healthier individual, and it's there's growing pains with that, right? Like as we evolve to these more healthier versions of us, we got to let go of the less healthier versions of us, and at the same time, not be upset with those versions and kind of honor them too. And I think it can be challenging with that because we think to ourselves, but this is who I am. It's like, yeah, we're also trying to change that. And it can be tough. And I think in those times, there's a lot of conflict because we can be in a circumstance where we have to make a choice that we would just regularly, mindlessly make. But when we're more engaged and we're trying to be more cerebral with the choices we're making, it can be really hard because change is tough and it's
Mhm.
not easy to do this stuff. And I feel like even though it's not easy, I feel like just based on your results, you made it look easy, which is cool to see. So, congrats to
Well,
you
I
on
wish
that.
I had more time to push harder.
Yeah,
I
I look, and if you had more time, Julie, you'd be wishing there was even more time then. And that's the thing. This
really
is this is
okay.
this is what high performance is. You know how it's like, oh, there's never enough time in a day. It's like, yeah, because if there was enough time, you know what you do? You fill it with something else. This is just who this is just who we are. These are the people that I
Yeah,
work with.
yeah.
And it's that these are the worthy type of individuals that we want to get the most out of every second we have because we're passionate people that enjoy the things we do. We love food. We love spending time with people. We like working hard. We like playing hard. It's just what it is. But we can
Mhm.
do all those things in a healthy way where we have healthy relationships. We make healthy
Yeah.
food options. The play that we have is physically engaging and mentally stimulating. These are all things that
Mhm.
are healthy for us as human beings, and it makes us very whole and complete as people. Right. And
Mhm.
that's your life, 100%.
Yeah.
You have a good relationship with your son, with your boyfriend, with your neighbors, with your coworkers, right? You embody that life of a healthy living and a healthy individual. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's great to see. Yeah.
Super. Um, anything else?
Yeah. Anything else
No.
that comes to mind?
No. Yeah, well, talking about time, I see myself in the future. One of my things that I want to do is be a ski bum. So when I retire, I definitely want to be a ski bum.
That's amazing. Why not? I feel like you
Ski
enjoy
every
these kind of
day.
things.
Who has the chance to ski every day?
You will when you're
It could
retired.
be, it could be somebody who, like, whether it's I want to walk every day. You might not be able to do that, or hiking. I I'm gonna be off subject.
Please.
Next Friday, not this one, next Friday, I booked myself. I'm gonna 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? I challenged myself. I wanted to go do Mount Marcy. And it was rainy and it was horrible weather and never got to see the tops. It's 5,300 meters. Okay.
Wow.
Sorry, feet. I'm sorry. 5,300 feet. Okay. It's in the Adirondacks. And I'm going back there on Friday to try to get to the top. I'm hoping for great weather. So that's I'm kicking my butt every single very often. I won't say every week or every day, very often, to have a challenge, and I think that helps. Like this weekend, my boyfriend and my friend, they did like they followed this bike path, which is the Petit Train du Nord. And I said, I want to go do hills. So I went, did a loop around, and I went to go do hills with my bike.
Amazing.
Yeah. So um, conclusion to all of this: always challenge yourself to do things that you might not think you'd be able to do.
I'd agree. And I think that in that, it gives you the opportunity to look at how much more you have available to try and improve versus seeing it
Hmm.
as a failure. It's like, wait, there's so much more than that I could work towards now. And I think reframing that in that way is super helpful for people to just stay motivated and encouraged to continue forward.
Hmm. And sometimes, having, I have my cycling buddies. Just get yourself there. So if you need somebody to help you to go to the gym once in a while, get somebody to get you there, and then you do the workout together. Work out as together. You can be doing different things. That is a huge motivator, and that helps. Yeah, it steps up your game. That's for sure.
There's one thing I'm sure you and I both appreciate. It's a little bit of competition. So
Yeah, yeah. Like I need to be cycling as an average, coming out of there with like, 30 kilometers an hour average. So yeah.
savage.
And
Nice.
I'm on the low end. I have friends that no, I have people in the group, the cycling group, where it's 32 and 36. They finish with an average of like 36. Uh, 32 could be a goal that eventually I could probably get to, but I'm not in a hurry. So,
Well, keep that in mind too, what you just said. You're looking at if you're hanging around with those people, you'll get there. But if those people weren't there, you wouldn't have anything to strive for. And
mm-hmm.
that's what I appreciate most about you is that you're constantly trying to challenge yourself and find ways to be like, okay, well, I can get here, but like where else can I get to? Right. And I think that's what keeps it interesting for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to thank you for doing this. I'm going to end this recording, but we can still chat here for a few minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Cool.